what I love about smart people is they know the importance of being their self. And authenticity comes from that. And that comes from your solo self, your narrative self, your relational self, your core self. Yes, I'm attachment trauma informed. Yourself now has a big way that I can explain it because people are like, why would I want to be myself, Maria? Now I know why. Smart people know why. And that's called, we have people who live shame cycle, and those are the Pinocchios with the wooden bodies, and we're going to leave them alone with their human suffering. They believe love is unrequited. They believe in the story of you have to give up stuff, but it's this torture stuff in here. I believe in love, and then I believe, thanks to being a human being body, and I have a mind. My divine masculine is my mind, and my body is my divine feminine. And then my left mode is my masculine, and the right mode is my feminine. That's how I share for those who do mindset with me, personal development, self help, all that great stuff. Subjective experience. Thank you. Patrick Tiahan, he's an inner child trauma survivor, healed and healing, and great therapist who has a community. And one of his posts today or yesterday was this, and I've seen it before, and I totally know smart people when I see them. They're authentic always, and they don't sound like jackasses. And when they do, they sound funny to me. Like I'm going to sound funny to those who know the jackasses I'm talking about. And oh, with all due respect, they can regurgitate to you more material than your mind can ever imagine. Oh, like my big man baby friend, child friend. He's great and he is smart. He's asked me numerous times when at first I was like, stop with this thing you're doing. I love you. You're great. I accept you for who you are, but stop. And a couple of times he got insecure and I said, look, I'm not saying you're stupid. I don't do intent of casting stones. I have a subjective experience and opinion, so it's not a fact. My thoughts and my emotions of this 3-year old, they don't feel like facts or truths at all. I don't have a 14-month-old ruling me. I am the master of my, oh, wait, core self. Yes, I have no shame because I got a childhood with my mother who didn't shame me or make me feel helpless or hopeless when I got vulnerable inside and got crying or angry or any, and actually my 3-year-old tone, my angry tone comes up with her and my twin. Those are the two people I consistently am still working to master because my mother taught me how to be polite. How any parent, not the way of those who actually traumatize their children. Excuse me, I should step back and make sure to organize my vocabulary so that I can explain a human being adult who calls any child who is being a child bad and then will say, because you're bad, it's your fault. Yeah, when you get raised by healthy adults and somebody does some shit like that and you're a child and then you have God and Jesus and you know about humbleness and love, you're like, wow, okay, now it explains why your unkind human being children are as unkind. Let's talk about what is it? Oh, yes, transgenerational trauma. So, see, while some people lack the education for evil, I don't lack imagination or education for that matter. And I consistently, like Potch as a teenager, was like, you're unkind for reasons. I know there's reasons. You know why? Because if I touch you, you're flesh. I don't live pseudo aliveness. Secure attachment brain stays smart. I'm not doing, what is it called? Oh, yes, the sympathetic nervous system in fight flight because my mother didn't make me feel ashamed of being a crybaby or an angry baby. None of it. So if somebody teased me, and I did get teased, I didn't really care and I didn't fear this thing called inadequacy. Actually, no, because I appreciate smarts. As I shared the story, I got booed for asking about homework. You know what that made me think? Nothing except for you're all stupid, apparently, because you don't want to learn. Now I got to grow up and realize there's a lot of stupidity in college years. Ask me about the contempt, disgust, and shame between women, men, and I don't know these, but I'm sure that anybody who doesn't get a good therapist and get out of the lack of, inadequacy thing from social system as an adolescent. Yeah, I didn't have low self-esteem too long. No, I didn't have it at all. The minute somebody said it's not personal, I was like, wait a minute, it's my heart. I can keep it open. Thanks, Jesus. Thanks, God. Got it. Check. Unkind people, you're out, 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 you're all out, you're all in, and there's my herd. Oh yeah, they lied. It's okay though. I went up to their faces and say, "So, hey, why'd you lie? Afraid. Why'd you lie? Afraid. Why'd you lie? Wow, are you all afraid? I'm only 4'9". I'm so small. Wait a minute. I am confident though. Wow, confidence does this to teenagers? Huh, I'm gonna be more confident. And I grew up. Look at me now. So come on over and do emotions. Or you can go to Venus, the goddess of May. Learn how to keep a man. Make sure to know if he fucks you, he's not going to want to marry you. In fact, he'll feel contempt, disgust, and shame 2 seconds after towards you. Apparently, this is what the men out there are saying, the ones that get looked up to by other young men. And I'm told I'm a woman, so I can only speak as an empowered woman, which is why when I see men, I'm like, let me notice. You walk a fine walk. I'm going to look at you from behind, from the forefront. No, I'm not. I'm actually not going to bother looking anywhere. You might be keeping up. You might be not. I don't know. I'm headed places. Do you not know how to love anyone? Anyone? I'm not on Pinocchio's island. That's what teenagers did, and then they grew up and they fizzle out. You see them all over the place. They act like they're badass. I learned what badass is not. And it definitely is not anyone who's a silverback or needs one for that matter. I'm just, my brain, I can see 3 miles away. Apparently, 4D readers say long, long, long in the future. I'm thinking, no, not really. I'm not that smart. I can't regurgitate material, but I do notice a Cusco when I see one because we're all embodied brains. So come on over and have fun. True love is what Jesus taught me, and I know all about it, Jesus. Don't worry. God, I can't do much. I want to, but I know it's bigger than what I can do. So I'm seen as an evil bitch or an evil witch by some people. Theologians have decided to make Reiki some evil energy because they don't like that yoga is taking precedence. I know why. It doesn't bring demons out of you. Any educated human being with Stephen Porges would know about the ventral vagal toning exercises and, how we are mammals. And our reptilian nervous system, it did serve us. We don't need to do torture chamber stuff. So I love to use my brain in creative ways and to make sense of things that are for the updated people that are wanting to be their self, not the ones who want to say, good boy, good girl, good day, put them on the pedestals, go. Go put your Strombolies on the pedestals, let them throw money at you. It'll be fun. There's a guy who says you all need silverbacks. There's a woman who says us polyamory overestimate the usage of your brain. I don't think you're stupid, do you? Just wondering, because I can be stupid. I'm okay. This is the part about being stupid and being okay with it. I actually am not in any way, shape, or form ashamed. I have no shame button. Do you not notice a 3-year-old? This is what Krishna Leela is all about. I'm a human translator, so let me read the sentence of this lovely man, Patrick Tiahan. Come on board. A gifted healer, I won't even use that word necessarily because, your body like mine and your brain like mine, I'm not a special duck. No, I'm actually a cricket duck. I got scoliosis, I'm 4'9", I'm all imperfect. Although I'm flat-chested, anybody want to be a teenager? Come on over. Who wants to be a teenager with other teenagers? I really didn't meet anything new once I got older because the ones who are grown-ups, they're all learning stuff and busy with their lives. No, they're not participating in any way, shape, or form to anything that involves dysregulated and or modulated embodied experiences that would make them not smart. Yeah, they'd be noticing their energy fizzling out by the minute, and there's plenty of free education online. So ears that can hear actually do know what to do. Oh, it's not a trending topic. The only ones who do trends are teenagers. So when you meet Cuscos, you're going to know who they follow because they're looking up buzzwords by the minute. And then they go and say, here's my list of pathologies. Look, all people are fucked up, and the ones who smile, they're toxic positivity. Wow. You learned a lot about yourself. I noticed you like to look at people. I do too. Difference is I fill the gap. Because I spot the Cuscos out there and I'm like, okay, let's bring in some love, like the little rainbows from unicorns and sunshines. And then we know that the ones who go, that's unfortunate. I shouldn't make fun of that because that's unfortunate, actually. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Let us educate and create awareness of what niceness and fun it is to be secure attached. It's not boring unless you want to be in lustful, sweet, sour energy, which is your sympathetic and So, gifted healer, yes, we work from our experience, not a niche. Thank you, Patrick Tiahan. I agree. We don't objectify people, which is also why we don't romanticize or demonize mental hygiene, mental health. I don't do any of that. I'm an online marketer. I created a course on how not to be a sales pitch because I find it very offensive. Anytime I get an email, I'm like, wow, they really did their due diligence. Which ones are the ones who are selling them the shit about archetype and stories? Oh, I forgot everybody wants to be that next superhero of theirs. Huh, go figure. You have to be your own superhero. Here, let me give you a star. So, again, empowered women, I'm not here to say you all have to be here. I'm here to say you can get here. It feels really nice. The ones who have trauma and they're serious about their self, they go get healed. You know why? Because it's torture and hell in here with trauma. That's why. And it's 2024. So there's no need for imagination. There's education, there's empowering information, and there's awesome researchers who are proving by the minute what silverbacks, it's okay though. Life has a way of continuing to expand. This is the other part about what is it called? Overestimating our human species. I actually don't overestimate anything. Akashic intelligence, the 5D collective, anyone who's a mystic, we love our human beings. We don't forget where we come from. Some people got into their ego way quick. I'm a mystic. I feel deeper than anyone else on the face of this planet. Wow. Okay, blamer, martyr, superior. Now I know the words. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I only know that I can't say anything because you are an insecure human being who needs validation right now as you tell me with your small little energy how you think you're Jesus or God or some shit like that. And I'm thinking disrespectful. You completely are not a mystic, not in 2024. Wow, to watch you all go around prancing like witches who are your third eye's blocked. I know now why your third eye's blocked. You're not doing introspection and you're not going to therapy. You're walking around spiritual bypassers with mantles and the savior complex one. Therapists aren't healed either. There's a bunch of professionals. They treat you like a niche. They're superhero capes. They sell you a story. Anytime I'm hearing a story, I'm like, oh my gosh, can we get to the data now, please? I want the data. I didn't come here to hear about your life story. And I do know I share stories too, but my content for course material does not involve me giving you 20 minutes of intro to how I got here. I mean, I get it. Some people, they need that. I know exactly where those people go. That's why there's a group for every person. And fundamentally, thank you, Bezel Vanderkook, every part of the brain is affected by trauma. The right brain lights up more. The right brain is where you can deal with uncertainty and uncertainty and on contradicting information. It allows it to sit. This connected to consciousness, according to Patrick McNamara, a neuroscientist, and he's a good one. So I know all about no demon possessing you. First, I'm a 5D mystic. Also, yeah, there's no demons that possess you. It's a plane of the mind's eye, which I totally know all about, which is why I stay away from anything that would agitate even more unnecessarily images. Some people watch nightmare shit. I'm thinking that doesn't support you to get out of that energy or the fear stuff. But hey, but yeah, sure, it's a good use of your brain time. The left brain is shut down more. The left brain is the one that breaks things down, organizes it, chit chatter, and then it wants to be right or wrong. It doesn't like anything that contradicts. And so when you're using both, though, that's because your corpus callosum, it switches. But eventually, if you move towards integration, which you can do with the inner growth mindset and your desire, obviously, and your self-awareness and your self-accountability, it means you say, oh, I have emotions, look, and I have thoughts. They're not truths or facts, they're mine. I want to expand consciousness. I'm trying to break it down like you're 5. That seems to be the way to help people to understand. But then I have this, found it hard to believe, Maria, the first 3 years of life mean anything at all. Well, you should meet Peter Levine and how, trauma charges, they linger in your body, muscles, bones, tissues, and, it's not demons that come out of you with yoga. If you want a good therapist, there's a good one. Her name is Pat Ogden. She works with sensory body motor, and she has trains therapists. I took a couple courses with her. She's really awesome. So I know all about the body. And Peter Levine, I learned from him too. And he doesn't take patients anymore, though, but he's writing books on how not to do psychedelics, which is by yourself, which makes sense. But, only people want to take their self and their life seriously are going to actually do that. There are people who take courses and they ask for shortcuts. When you find out how the brain actually integrates, and so the process, thank you, Daniel Siegel. So I think it was 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks. I'm forgetting that number for some reason, Dan. For your new neural receptors or something like that to connect. And I forget words. See, I don't regurgitate well, but I can go find it in my course material. Okay, and this is not me making up shit from my ass, just FYI. But we can go ask at the meetings because that's where I don't go to all their meetings. I'm just learning material because I'm a mentor, content creator, but then I get asked all these questions like, well, I am not the complete neuroscience or neurobiology expert. I'm learning pieces of information to support people's well-being. Excuse me. I didn't realize I would have to take a quiz every time I shared some empowering information because you found it hard to believe, Maria, that my sensations, images, or affects and meanings and behaviors have anything to do with my childhood, but I'll believe in there being evil and some monster and some story of humans suck. I'll believe that. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? Yeah, you keep believing that. What is it? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Sure. Yes. Ancient silverbacks. Can you have fun? There's a jackass over there. Not here. Here, it's more like, wow, found it hard to believe that there's so many people that I have to look at and say, you're smart. Sure, you can regurgitate a lot, and I don't know anything about 1 kilometer or 200. I'm just a stupid human being. I'm a woman. I don't know how to follow directions. Here, let me use a stereotype or two so that we can laugh together about them. The back of the brain is more hyperactive. You know why? Yeah, that's where your safety behavior and your brainstem is, which is where silverbacks are. The reactivity of people, and the front of the brain becomes less active. That's the prefrontal cortex. And remember Robert Sapolsky? Yeah, let's go use Robert. He's awesome. I'm still waiting to read your book, Robert. I will get to it at some point. I will try. I really want to. I started it and I just don't have the time. I got my course materials that have priority. So, where are you? Here we go, Robert. So, here's where he was interviewed by someone on Well Big Thing, because, he wrote this book, which created a lot of controversy. You know what happens. It's kind of like the book of, what was it? I read it just because Dan Brown, that one, they made a movie out of it. I didn't watch the movie. Yeah, I read it because I'm like, what are they making? Why is this so humongously being discussed? So, that was a good book. He's a good writer. He kept me entertained in a good way. I've read other books. It was really painful. Dostoevsky, man, to get through any of those descriptions. Oh my gosh! But then people reminded me they didn't have TV and all this other stuff, so it made a difference in the way back when. Okay, so Robert Sapolsky, your frontal cortex is the part of your brain that is the freest from genetic influences because it is still being sculpted by environment and experience a quarter century after you plopped out of the womb. And whereas he says most of the rest of your brain is sculpted by 2 to 3 years worth of experience. And then he says, wow, we evolved. Our genes evolved to free our frontal cortex from strict genetic determinism and to make it much more sculpted by environmental determinism. So when Dr. Bezel van der Kolk informs you that the front of the brain becomes less active, that's your prefrontal cortex, and that the back is more hyperactive, that's your safety behaviors. So silverbacks, and any person who needs to follow silverback, well, that's where they're leading with their amygdala being enlarged because the frontal lobes are down, means they're in survival mode, and we're not going to do buzzwords or, any of that. What I'm going to say is everything is workable. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. So you can integrate the brain of yours by choosing to welcome what comes up with your own self-awareness and shut the thoughts down for a minute and say, I got sensations, images, affects, meanings. I got behaviors. Do I have functional adult behaviors? Number one. Meaning, can I pick up a lady from the floor? Am I going to argue with a Sadhguru about picking up a lady from a floor? This happened in one of my courses with Sadhguru. This dude's just arguing with him as Sadhguru. He doesn't know the psychoeducation. I do now. So he's explaining how we're responsible for each other in a very beautiful way, which reminds me, let me share his lovely quote of the day, and then we'll conclude this one and we'll have another one in a little bit. If you want your relationship to work, constantly remind yourself that the other is more significant than you. Now, I don't agree with this completely because that would mean that you're leading with Isaac, Abraham, one of the two, and that would mean you're scanning self and other, and that means that your nervous system is going to be only engaged in looking outward versus being with also Jacob objectively. So being able to know with differentiation is what it's called, self and other, I'm a guitar string, so are you. I want to be able to safe haven, secure base me first. So I want to know how to regulate my nervous system and stay in my social engagement, meaning to be yourself confidently with love, open heart, which is what I get to do and then teach you mentorship. You hear stories on here. Ask Maria for opinionated, calmness, paid subscription based episodes. And then we're going to have masterclass, which is going to be a group effort. But long story short, if you only do the others are more significant than you, you're going to actually do what Gabor Mate shares. I think it's pretty much serving all other people and not thinking of yourself at all, but also you're not differentiating. And so that's going to lead to codependent type relationships. So what instead you want to do is, of course, you want to have kind intention. So the 3 pillars of the mind: kind intention towards others, and you want to be aware of what's going on in here and stay open-hearted, so you regulate your nervous system. If you start getting pissy in your pants, you don't be like everyone's fucked up and stay a teenage fight attitude. That's your last charge state. You say, okay, we got opinions and thoughts. They got opinions and thoughts. You don't have to be rigid. I'm not a 16-year-old. I'm not a 3-year-old. So you learn how to become, thank you again, Daniel Siegel, default mode network, down-regulated. Then your left and your right, they working together, all hands on deck. Insula activated because you can handle your emotions that come up. Then what else was there? So your corpus callosum, your interconnected connectome, your hippocampus, that's your memory center, and that's actually something, they're all affected by childhood developmental trauma. And then the fourth is the prefrontal cortex. So yoga helps ventral vagal toning exercises, so it helps to unlock stuff, but whatever comes up, if your body can't contain it, as Peter Levine shares, that's something we want to work on, because it means you have a window tolerance that shot up the roof. Okay, so you want to expand the window tolerance, stop doing what is clinical dissociation out there for you, out-of-body experiences, stop having numbness, and we don't, again, romanticize or demonize mental health or mental hygiene. Everyone can be healed. Nobody is broken. So whenever I see any side, whether they want, anyone who's want to make a big deal is a teenager. I was a teenager too. We made a big deal, and I got taught how not to make a big deal, and that's what I'm now sharing here. So some people, they want to keep making a big deal. They go with Braveheart and they stay in modulated embodied self lives. That means they're not going to grow healthier because they're not learning to be in the restorative embodiment self life, which is instead what I get to share with those of you who want to do SMARTS. Because SMARTS means stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. Here at IHP with FACES. FACES is from Daniel. Flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain. That's because you say, I'm going to move into more of my secure attachment 1-year-old, or get an insecure attachment 1-year-old. I'm going to be, whether solo polyamory, or monoamory, you're going to be an independent, safe haven. I know how to regulate my 1-year-old. When she gets upset, they get upset. And I'm differentiating. So when I'm with other, I will have those 3 pillars of the mind: kind intention, awareness of self, and attention, focused attention, which is also appreciation. But I'm going to do what Daniel Siegel taught me when I asked him about me being sensitive to the people around me. He said, okay, Maria, I think you're not differentiating enough. Differentiate. Differentiate means you're in your prefrontal cortex in a physiological state of compassion, which I learned in one of my courses with NICABM. Your insula lights up, your amygdala, your temporal junction, which is where instead those who ruminate, they stay stuck, and then they wire themselves shut into an adaptive chow or maladaptive chow pattern, or they don't get out of one, because sometimes they're already with one. They can get out of it with good therapy, with good mindset, with their desire, and then with healthy self-worth relationships, because we're going to be like, hey, don't bring dysregulation over here. I'm regulated. Let me tell you all about what just happened, your tone, your mood, all of it. You brought it into the room. What's up with this? No, don't. Nope. No. This ain't no push and pull. Walk a walk, talk a talk, be happy. Life is very straightforward. We got food, we got water, and if we don't, we'll go and work for it. It's very easy to be a part of the human herd. No, we're not going to do anything unlawful or whatever the word is. We want to be a part of the herd. Successful entrepreneurs want to build businesses, not be in prison bars because, it's like Catch Me If You Can or Lupin. Anybody remember? Yeah. Got people who grow up, they think they're like the movies. And so, number 4, what was number 4 that I was listing? Yes, the temporal junction. You move out of it and into the prefrontal cortex. And so when you're in a physiological state of compassion, your body, your social engagement is check, ventral vagal. Your prefrontal cortex, all of those that lit up are all there. You're ready to respond. I'm taking in information. The lady's on the floor. Okay, can I lift her? Well, I'm 4'9". Depends how big is she, how small is she, how I don't know. But can I go? Do I feel safe to go? Okay, so I'm taking in and I'm contemplating, and then I figure out the best case scenario for me. Now, see, here's where as a woman who has had experiences, it's kind of like, okay, if it's a woman, I will feel comfortable. Even if it's a man, I will feel comfortable. I will approach if I am in a public setting and I can see that there are people around, and if I feel in my gut that it's safe. If in my gut I notice something off and it says no, then I will look for help, and then I will go and approach with a group. If I still feel unsafe or I have nobody, then if it comes to my mind, this is one of the last things, actually, I'm sorry to say, I never think of calling the police. Nowhere, not in Italy, not in US. I have had situations that just, they don't come to my mind, and it is unfortunate because I know that there are those who are doing their job and that they want to be there. But yes, this is where those lovely determined, right? So we want to grow and support a community and build trust. So we don't want to discriminate, but we don't forget how we handle things. So emotions and thoughts and experiences, they impact our day-to-day life. And like I said, for me, it's because of experiences. I never think of, hey, let me call the cops, because of just so much that gets said. That and well, the other part is the lag time, the time it takes them to get anywhere. For the places that I live, it's like, okay, by the time they get here, it's done. I'm done. I don't even know. So it's unreliable, and hopefully in time we can work on that. But in the meantime, with good community members, so see if I have people around me and I say, hey, can we go help the lady on the floor? You know, and this is where I've had a situation before where I and my friend, it was two of us, we saw this woman. She was getting, it seemed, beat up by her boyfriend or somebody, but there are active videos that you'll see for certain places where the couples will beat up a person who intervenes. And so my friend, based on his experience, because he had done that to step in and try to save or help, the woman started to beat him up. And so when I said, shouldn't we stop and see if we can do anything? And he's like, no, I got beat up for trying this. We can't. So what about the cops? They won't get here in time. When for all we know, it's part of their relationship. So what we want to do is create conversations, not do stereotypes, no judging people. So now you should have done this. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, what? Yeah, this is where between cultural bias and gender biases, but also the reality is every situation is going to be different. You can find the woman who will appreciate you approaching. You can find the woman, man, that will say, mind your own business. This is my relationship. Because we still have people who live relationships where they think suffering is a part of it, that all of those mannerisms. I have had people talk to me in ways about their relationship. It's a toxic, codependent, childhood trauma relationships, and I will have shared the educational information to the best of my ability with respect to all members involved, due to the fact that that's how it works when you're dealing with Cuscos. They will be not only defensive, protective. The minute you mention anything about trauma, they're going to say, are you calling me crazy? You call you insult? What are you doing? They're going to take it as an insult. This is not the only time. So knowing how it works to be a person, it's like, okay, no, in any moment of my life where I've been able to provide support with these added educational piece of information, and somebody's come back and tried to say that I was trying to be mean or what, no, I'm just sharing with you information. I found it hard to believe. You know what? I leave it alone. You know what? I'm just gonna go on my merry way and let you be uneducated. No, I just educated you. You don't believe in the educated lady, but you'll believe yoga with demons. You'll believe Reiki is a piece of shit energy. You'll believe that evil exists. You'll believe in demons. You'll believe in spiritual bypassers. And you'll believe in the so-called not good therapists who are online, how to get under the skin of a narcissist. That's just wrong. Or here, how to be immune to a narcissist. You'll believe in that verbiage, all of it, and pointing fingers, but you won't believe an education that shares our mammalian heritage and how to be loving and respectful and kind and open hearted. So, we will be back with more. My camera did some funny business as we conclude. So, we're going to take a brief pause. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.